When I was 10 years old, I lived in a small town outside State College, Pennsylvania. My house sat at the edge of town, with a narrow yard behind it and a field beyond. It was a Friday night in late October, sometime around dusk, and I was in my room playing on the computer. The glow from the screen lit up my face, and the house was quiet except for the sound of my game. Outside, the yard was covered in fallen leaves, and the pumpkin patch beyond lay quiet in the dark. That's when I first noticed it. A scarecrow was standing in the field, staring straight at my window. Its hat was crooked, and one arm hung at a weird angle, like it was pointing at me. I don't know why, but it made my skin prickle. It wasn't just some decoration. It felt really off. I kept looking. It wasn't something I'd ever seen in the field before. Not last year, not the year before. The wind slid over the vines, stirring the withered leaves and rattling the dry stalks. But the scarecrow didn't move a muscle. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. After lunch, I went outside and walked to the edge of the backyard, where I could see the scarecrow clearly. The field was full of pumpkins, orange and round, but a lot of them were old and rotting, with spots of mold and sagging stems. Stepping through it felt gross, like you had to watch your step or get your shoes covered in muck. I stood there for a while, just staring from a distance. The scarecrow didn't move, didn't twitch. It just stared back at me. My stomach twisted, but curiosity won over. Slowly, I stepped into the field, trying to avoid the worst of the rotten pumpkins. Squishy, sticky patches clung to my shoes, but I kept moving closer. I couldn't stop noticing how lifelike it looked. The way its head tilted slightly, the way its arms dangled awkwardly, like it had been frozen mid-motion. I stopped dead when I thought I saw it flinch. Maybe the wind shifted, or maybe my mind was playing tricks on me, but my heart started pounding. "Hello?" I called out, my voice shaking a little. As soon as the word left my mouth, a few crows erupted from the scarecrow, wings flapping and cawing loudly. I jumped back, stumbled over a pumpkin, and ran all the way back to the house and up to my room, heart still hammering. From the safety of my window, I watched the field again. The scarecrow hadn't moved, just stood there, silent and still, like it had been waiting for me to step closer. I tried to get my mind off it, so I spent the rest of the day biking around with my friends. Later on that night, my friend Scott came and slept over. We set up in my room, playing games and talking, and at some point I couldn't keep it in anymore. "Hey," I said, nodding towards the window. "There's this scarecrow in the pumpkin field behind my yard. It's kind of weird." Scott leaned over, peering out the window. He laughed. "It's just a scarecrow, nothing to worry about." I wanted to believe him. I really did. After many hours of Mario Kart, right as we were about to try to sleep, the floodlight in the backyard clicked on, cutting through the darkness. A soft glow slid across the curtains, and we both sat up, staring at it. Slowly, we crawled toward the window and slid the curtains aside, just enough to peek out. "What the?" Scott whispered. A shadow stretched across the yard, long and twisted, dark against the fallen leaves. It had the unmistakable silhouette of the scarecrow. But the scarecrow itself wasn't in the field. I realized with a chill that the shadow was coming from the back door. The scarecrow was right there, standing just out of sight below our window, and the floodlight made it look massive, stretching its shadows all the way across the yard. A chill ran through me, and Scott stayed frozen beside me, eyes wide. Soon after, we both heard faint scratching at the back door, like something dragging across the wood. I grabbed Scott's arm. "Let's go wake up my mom and dad," I said. My parents' bedroom was right next to mine. I knocked lightly, and my dad called out, "What is it?" "There's something out in the backyard," I said, voice shaking. "A scarecrow. It moved from the field." We went downstairs together to the back door. Scott and I whispering, trying to explain what we'd seen. But when we looked out, there was nothing. No scarecrow, no shadow, nothing. We checked the field too. It wasn't there either, just gone. Scott and I swore it had been real. Neither of us could explain it, and my parents just shook their heads, unsure what to say. Then my dad noticed them. Long, jagged scratch marks running down the wood of the back door. My parents frowned, clearly annoyed. "You two must be pulling some kind of trick," they said. "And now look at the door." We quickly tried to explain ourselves, but my parents didn't seem at all convinced. Eventually, we went back up to my room, still shaken. We spent the rest of the night talking quietly about what we'd seen, peeking out the window over and over, too nervous to look away for long. After that night, the scarecrow never appeared again. Every year, as the leaves started to fall and Halloween approached, I'd glance toward the pumpkin patch behind our yard, wondering if it might return. I never saw it again, but sometimes I still think, somewhere in that shadow, it could be waiting.